Welcome back to the second level of Voila cooking journey. Today we are going to cook stuffed mushrooms with sauté spinach to level up your chopping, seasoning, pan fry, oven, cook vegetables, and plating skills. Before starting, get everything together: your ingredients, the board, the knife, the pan, and the tray. When you start learning a new skill, it's important that you know the process that you are following. And for that reason, every Voila recipe can be finished in 6 simple steps. So let's have a quick overview of the steps of today's recipe. So the first 3 steps are going to be to prep, cook the filling, and stuff the mushrooms. The 2 steps after are going to be to prepare and cook the spinach. And finally, we are going to plate our spinach and mushrooms. So let's start by leveling up our chopping skills. So we'll have medium-sized mushrooms, you can also use portobello, 1 onion, 3 cloves of garlic, 1 pepper. So let's start by taking out this part of the mushroom from all of them. We have here 10 medium-sized mushrooms for 2 people, so 5 each. They are going to shrink on the oven. So now that we are done with this part, we are going to turn on the oven at 220 degrees with heat coming from the top, the bottom and fan, just like the other recipe. So now that the oven is ready, we are going to start by seasoning the mushrooms. And we are going to do this by dressing the tray. So you take the tray, you add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of pepper, a pinch of salt, and a teaspoon of oregano. So now we are going to put all the mushrooms in. This is going to give them flavor. So put this aside. And we are now going to chop our vegetables. How do you cut the mushrooms? So the movement is going to be the same. So to remind you, put the top of the knife here, put your fingers protected with the fingertips to the back, and just let the weight of the knife do the job. So the mushrooms, we are going to cut this in 4, and then just cut it 4 or 5 times and put them aside. Then you do the same with everything else. You can do this as fast and as slow as you like, and the more experience you have, the fastest you'll be able to do it. But the process is always the same. How to cut the garlic in a faster way. So if you have one of these knives, and even if it's not as large, you can also do it. That is, you put the knife parallel to the board and you just use this part of your hand to give a hard punch on it. So you do this 2 times, and as you see, it broke. So now if you cut the 2 tops, or even 1, the garlic is ready to chop. So now how do you do it? Again, same process. So you chop the garlic. Now we are just not going to just chop in one direction and then cut it in half, so it's smaller. Again, easier to fill mushrooms. And now we are going to chop the onion. So as we did yesterday, always the same process. Cut along this line Then turn it down in this position, cut the top, put this aside, and now peel the first layer, so the brown and the first layer then of the onion. Should be very easy to take it out. This part is harder, so we don't want to eat it. Thinner than yesterday. So how we do it? First, we cut along this line, in the middle first, and then 3 or 4 times to each one of the sides, depending on the size of your onion. You might start crying, but it's okay. Then, parallel to the board, you cut it once. Just keep your hand, this hand to keep the onion together, and then again a little bit higher. So the onion is now cut like this, as you can see. The onion is cut like this. So now you just need to do the same thing. It might be harder because it's taller, but it's okay. You can do it slow. So just keep this part of the knife next to the board and just use the weight of the knife to cut the onion. Okay, so the only thing that we are missing cutting is the pepper, but we are going to start by frying the garlic and the onion, so it starts and we don't need to wait as long for it to be ready. So we are now going to start step 2 of pan frying the mushroom filling. It will be done in 3 different phases. The first 5 minutes we are going to fry the onion and the garlic. Then we are going to add balsamic vinegar and the peppers and cook it for another 5 minutes. And finally, on the last 5 minutes, we are going to add also the chopped mushrooms. So let's start. On high heat, wait for 30 seconds and then add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Reduce the heat to 7. And now use the board and add first the garlic. Be careful because it burns very easily. And then the onion. So we are now going to fry this for a while. We are going to chop the peppers. We are just going to use half of it. As we saw before, peppers have the seeds below this green part, so we just cut it along the way and let the knife do the job. So as you see, we have all the seeds here, and this is seeds free. Only this part has, and you can just take it out with your hands. So today we are just going to use half of a pepper. So how do you chop this? This is already washed. So again, we are going to chop this as yesterday, but a little bit thinner than before. So first, cut along the longest part, like this. And now we are chopping, as you can see, it's much thinner than before. And then turn it around, and we are just going to do this to cut it thinner by moving the hand slower. So we do the first, then we move a little bit back, we do the second, then we move a little bit back, we do the third, and then we repeat the process, but moving the fingers only a little bit, so we get thinner cuts than before. Okay, so the onion has been here cooking with the garlic. I've stirred it once or twice during this process, as I told you. And I will now add 1.5 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Just like stir everything together. And after 1 minute, we are going to be ready to add the peppers. So let's add it. So we add the mushrooms and we add a pinch again a good way to know what portion of salt, and you should always put less and then taste and add more if needed. So now we are ready to fill our mushrooms with it. So turn the heat off and let's. Step 3, where we are going to fill the mushrooms, cover it with cheese, oregano, a drip of olive oil, and put it on the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. Let's start. So first, take one mushroom. They're already seasoned as we did before, and I've been here for a while. Just don't forget that we are still going to use a little bit of this filling for tomorrow. So take half of this one side and we are just going to need the other. Also, the mushrooms are not that big, so you're not going to need as much to fill. Oregano, just sprinkle it around, and then just a small drip of olive oil. And it's ready to go to the oven. So it will take like 10-12 minutes on the oven. It's already hot, so it's much faster. And while this goes to the oven, we are going to do our spinach as a side. Let's go. So let's now move to step 4 and prepare our spinach. So wash the spinach and just put everything on the board. So the only thing we need to do is to cut them like very roughly, so we can easily put this on the pan. So 5th step is to cook the spinach. Add them to a pan. They are going to cook, and then we're putting it aside. Add a drip of olive oil on the other side. Add the chopped garlic, and after around 1 minute that is cooking, we can mix everything together. Put it on 5 or medium heat. So let's add the spinach. I know it seems a lot, but this is going to shrink. So you can put the heat a little bit higher, like in 6, medium-high heat. So let's chop our garlic, and then we are going to take this to half of the pan, add the olive oil, add the garlic, cook the garlic, and then mix everything together, and then we are ready. So let's chop that garlic. So as you see, spinach are cooked. Let's just add a pinch of salt. So spray it around, give it a good mix. So all the salt is dissolved. Put the spinach to one side. This will be very fast. Add 1 tablespoon of olive oil to that side. Add the garlic. Use a spoon just to let the garlic fry a bit. Does not need to be a lot. 30 seconds and we're going to mix everything together. Garlic is already with all the olive oil flavor, so mix everything together. Stir it. Here it is. We are now ready to start plating. So 6th and final step is going to be to plate our mushrooms and spinach. So here are the spinach, and we are taking out the mushrooms out of the oven, and they look very good. So it's caramelized, as you see, it's melted. We have some water that was out of the mushrooms, but we'll get like a little bit of sauce in the end. So let's plate. And here it is, our final dish. So today we learned how to chop, and today in a thinner way. We learned how to cook mushrooms. We learned how to cook spinach and how these two ingredients, the mushrooms and the spinach, release a lot of water. But if we know and we have the skill on how to cook it, they're going to be very tasty and get a lot of flavor out of it. So we learned how to melt the cheese and cook this on the oven to have them maximize the flavor and have a beautiful dish that you can serve to your loved ones and enjoy yourself. So hope to see you on the next class, where you're going to level up your culinary skills and you're going to be able to say voila. Thank you.